are well into our 2020 year, and I couldn't be happier that you chose to stop here and talk to me or listen to me or communicate with me. My name is Rhea Petrie, and this is the Rhealism channel. And in case you are just joining me for the first time, it is my hope that you come away knowing who I am, what I'm all about, and more importantly, if there's anything you want to engage with me about, that you would like, subscribe, comment, check out my website, www.rhealism.com. You can click on Ask Rhea, or you can check out some of my blog posts and just share or comment any reactions that you might have. So, who wants to know what we want to talk about today? I could not be more inspired. I'm still on this high for 2020, for this new decade, for the new vision, for all the new goals that many of us have. I know I've spoken about in the last couple of videos, kind of recapping what the last decade meant to you, to us, and charting a course and a vision for where we are going in this new year. So, I want to start off first by explaining a little bit about realism, who I am, what I'm about. So, the technical definition for realism is the quality of a person who understands what's real and what's practical in a given situation, and furthermore, knows how to deal with those problems in an effective and practical way. So I've always kind of adopted that mindset, no matter what capacity I was working in, coach, therapist, counselor. It was always about being real, being practical, and then being able to be solution focused. However, I do want to highlight another definition of realism today because it kind of inspired me as I think about content and I try to come up with like things that matter or what's real to me this week. And what's real is this particular definition of realism, and that is the attitude or practice of accepting a situation as it is and being prepared to deal with it accordingly. So that is what's strong on my heart this week. So it's one thing to have the quality of a person who can understand what's real and what's possible, but this aspect of realism kind of got me excited because it really made me think about being recharged with my purpose. And what that is to help folks that, whether I'm working with you on a coaching basis, whether you're watching me, whether you're reading something that I write on my blog or future books. Come on, 2020, I'm publishing a book this year, people. But no matter what medium, what platform, my heart is still the same. My purpose is still the same. My intentions are still the same. And so that's it. So accepting a situation as it is and being prepared to deal with it accordingly. That's my hope for you. That's my prayer for me. So let's do this thing together. All right. So who wants to know what we're going to talk about this week? I bet you do, because I'm ready for it. So about 2000 and I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, there was a term that I coined, the freedom movement. And basically it's not deep, not rocket science, but what it is just being set free from any blockages, any boundaries, any things that are like holding us back from getting where we want emotionally, being stuck. I just kind of had it fall on me one day, and a few of my friends and I, we used to joke like freedom movement, and I always said that I wanted to be about that. I wanted to chart a course for others to get free and also make that like my life's mantra, my life's mission. So that's what this is all about. So this video I want to entitle, well, first of all, it's the freedom movement of the week. Okay? Freedom movement for the week is getting unstuck and getting clear about what you want. That one is a big one, and I'm sure that all of you that might be watching can relate to something that you might be stuck in. There might be an area of your life that you wish you saw more momentum, more growth. So that's what I want to talk about today, getting unstuck and getting clear about what you want. Who wants to get clear? Come on, get your glasses out. Let's do it. All right, so one of the things that I aim to do here when I speak with you guys, one is to be very practical. So my goal is not only just to sit here and talk and blab, but to give you guys some practical ideas, some practical solutions, some personal testimonies of my own journey, because Lord knows I have been stuck in a lot of areas, but I'm so grateful, Lord. Let me just take a moment. I am so grateful to be able to say that I'm not necessarily stuck in all the areas that I used to be stuck in, but all of us are on a journey. And one of my life's missions and commitment is just to be vocal about that and to share with others about my journey so that we can do this thing together. So with that, practical steps, I just want to highlight 4 things, actually 5. I want to highlight 5 things to you guys as it relates to getting clear and getting unstuck. So those things work hand in hand. A lot of times we'll find ourselves bogged down with confusion, or, you kind of like know that you don't like where you are and you don't know quite how to get where you want to be. All of those things. I just wanted to illustrate. I kind of sat with myself and I'm like, you know what, Rhea, you've been stuck in a lot of areas, and people have asked, well, how'd you do this, or how'd you do that, or can you just tell me what to do? And I mean, obviously we have many, many, many different teachers out there. There's many, many, many different approaches, and I can only share mine. So I'm going to start with number one, and that is start with the end goal. So what is it that you desire to achieve? So whether it's something tangible, like I want to lose weight, or I want to save money, whether it's something, emotional, like I want to be free of this pain that I'm in, I want to get over this heartbreak, or I want to be married one day and I keep finding myself having these, roadblocks or hiccups, whatever that thing is. Or I want this type of career, or I'm tired of being stuck in my career and I want to launch and start something else. Hello, you are witnessing me making that decision, stepping into this platform, because it is a new one for me. So start with the end goal. I talked about writing a vision and setting an intention. So that will be the first thing for me that has helped. I get that pen and pad out. I take every opportunity, whether it's to go hiking, whether it's to sit in silence, whether it's to put on some music that might inspire you. I'm a big music person, so that has been one of my ways to kind of get in the zone, to light that candle, whatever your thing is, to go on a walk, to sit in stillness, to meditate. There's so many different ways that you can get there, but I'm just really big on that. Start with that end goal in mind, set your vision, and I'm very, very specific about writing it down. So that's the first thing. Start with the end goal. What is it that you want? Write that thing down. Sit and kind of, just be with yourself, be with God. If you believe in God, and if you don't, just kind of look within and say, you know what, self, what is it that I envision? Close your eyes and see it. See it and write it down. That's one. Number two is be real with yourself about where you are. So what does that look like? What is your current situation bringing you? So a lot of people might joke. I mean, most of the gifts that we have as human beings can serve as blessings and curses. I like to ask questions, honey. I am a question guru. And one of the common practices in my life is to just write out questions. I call it assessing. Assess, okay? But in order to look at where you are and kind of what your life is, you got to look inwardly. So that's going to be number two. And so here are some questions that you can ask yourself. How do I spend my time? Am I disciplined? If I'm not, then what needs to look different in my life? Are there things that are taking up space? Are you distracted? That's basically what that question means. And that's just three simple questions that you can say, okay, this is a way to assess, like, what is the overall picture of my life? I like to call it like a life map. If you were just to write out what your life consists of, what are the hats that you wear in your life, circle, look at the areas of the things that you're not so happy with that might feel like, this might need a few tweaks. But that's very tangible, very practical, that you can do. How do you spend your time? Are you disciplined? If you find yourself not so disciplined, what needs to change? And are there things that are taking up your space, that are distracting you from said goal? So that's number two. All right, so the third thing that I tend to do when I'm doing these self-assessments or trying to get myself from point A to point B, or from, present day to goal, is I assess what barriers or what boundaries might stand in the way. Obviously, there could be many things. So this is not like one concise list. This is not a conclusive list by any means, but I just kind of quickly, as I prepare for this video, I'm like, well, what are some of the things that have held me back? Fear, absolutely one of them. You're looking at me press through it right now, people, because I've had technical difficulties even shooting this video. I'm sure you hear the echo in the background, but that's all right, because you know what? I said I was going to press through that fear, and I'm going to just shoot these videos by any means necessary. So let's do it, people. Fight through the fear. Fight through the fear. Fight through the fear. Other people, a lot of times, people will be all, swayed to the left and right based on people's opinions of what they think you should be doing, or God forbid you tell somebody an idea you have and it gets shut down or it gets blasted. So then you're like, oh, I'll just keep this to the chest. But as a result, maybe you don't move on it. So is it other people that might be a barrier or a boundary? I know for me, one of the things that I told myself with, certain goals that I had was like, oh, I need help. I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. Even with this, I don't know how to do this. But that was really a barrier. That was a boundary that I told myself that I could not move forward in this dream, in this goal, because I didn't have a camera crew, or I didn't have a sound man, or I didn't have a fill in the blank. But hey, we're here, people. Let's do it. And then lastly, negative self-perception or your own insecurity. So I can think of a specific time in my life where, And I'll talk about this. I think I'm going to talk about this in another video, maybe a little bit later on, but where I was like going from career to career. And someone made a comment to me once and they're like, well, how do you just manage to just jump in from one role to the next, like seamlessly? And the thing is, I didn't necessarily have the confidence in every role that I, kind of transitioned into, but I knew that I had to just say, hey, what do I want to do? Set that end goal. Where am I today? Do I know about this industry or not? How can I get there? And I just made it happen. And one thing that I can say I'm committed to is excellence. So really it was my commitment to excellence and and I love to learn, and I just pressed through that fear. So, I mean, it's not that, we can't all be experts in everything, but I will say that I allowed myself to grow in the area of not letting people be a boundary or not let them stand in my way from what I said that I wanted to do. So, hey, is that one of the things that's holding you back? Let's do that. Let's spend this time to look inside and see, because hopefully you can break past that. Break past them people, honey. Shoot, shake your shoulders off, whatever you need to do, and get them boundaries out the way so we can get about the business of you living the life that you want. How about that? All right, so another question that you might want to ask yourself as you assess and as you think about, where you want to go is, what do you need to get there? So I'll use an example. I know I've had many jobs. I've been a makeup artist, I've been a therapist, in-life coach, an executive director. I fill in the blank. I worked in commercial property management for a short time. And in all those areas, as I assessed and as I took inventory on where I was in my life, I said, you know what is it that I need to get there? So whether it's taking a course or, setting aside time to practice your skill set, whatever it is. Hey, I said I wanted to be a producer of content, and here we are today. And guess what? I'm excited about that. So thank you again for visiting me. But yeah, ask yourself, what are the things that you need? And guess what? It's okay if you don't know. It's totally okay. I've had many times where I'm like, okay, God, and this is where prayer comes in for me. I know where I want to go. I know what I see on the end. And sometimes it may not even resonate with you to see yourself there, but you just know, hey, I see this person, they're living this life, and I perceive that's what I want. Or I don't like where I'm at so bad, I just want something different. So don't be so caught up in the vision having to make perfect sense, but just start somewhere. You know that you want a better situation. So whether it's less pain, whether it's more peace, I talked about that for me, whether it's just simplicity, kind of shaving away those distractions, being very diligent on how you use your time, whatever those things are, ask yourself, what do you think it takes to get there? And if you don't know, that's where I'm going to say a shared practice for me is just committed to prayer. Hey, God, I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I don't even know all of what I need, but here's where I'm at, and that's where that self-assessment comes in. Here's where I want to be. Here's where that vision comes in, and now I got to humble myself. Hey, I need help. How can I get there? And I can say I am standing here today that the pieces start to come together. So just know that. Be encouraged today. It's okay if you don't have all the answers. It will come together. But I think, a lot of people just sit stagnant and say, okay, I'm waiting for that burning bush moment, or I'm waiting for the lights to just flash and boom, something will drop out the sky. It takes work on our end as well. So just take that away with you today, people. In addition to faith and having that vision, there's a work aspect that we have to do to put our intentions out there and to strive towards having that discipline to get where we want. Which brings me to my fifth point, and that is, what am I willing to sacrifice or do differently in order to get there? So and it's so amazing, this can be applicable into any area of your life, be it personal, career, financial, health, health and wellness, whatever it is. If you ask yourself those things and you follow those steps, when you get to that number 5 and you say, okay, what do I need to sacrifice? What needs to look different? You will be amazed at how things will start to come together. And I'm saying it why? Because I'm living it. I'm striving. Now, trust me, it requires prayer. I am absolutely not perfect, but it's something that I've grown to appreciate. Those 5 things. So I'm glad you took the time to listen. Let's do it. It's 2020. It's a new decade. It's a new year. Let's be about living the life that we want, you guys. All right. So because I'm from the Make It Plain ministry, I want to just do a little recap as we summarize those things that we discussed today. So 1, this is all about the freedom movement. This is all about getting clear, getting unstuck. What are the things that you can do? Name the category of your life this can still apply. Come up with that end goal. What's the vision? Where are you trying to go? Okay? Do an assessment. Like, be real about where you are. Like, am I, 10,000 miles away from that goal? You could be, but that's okay, because it all starts with a single step, whether you're 2 steps away or 10,000 steps away. So being real, taking the assessment inventory of your life, of where you are emotionally, physically, whatever it is, taking that inventory. 3, assessing what barriers or boundaries might stand in your way. So again, some of these things, they might seem cut and dry, but that's why people like me exist. If you need any help figuring that out, I'm here. Leave me a comment, shoot me an email, all of those things. There's people out here, there's resources out here. We are a community. None of us are intended to do this life alone, okay? So figure out what the boundaries and barriers are, so we can get them things out the way. We can be about the business of getting them things out the way. What do you need to get where you have to go? It's okay if you don't know, but if you do know, some people might say, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to, take up this extra practice. I might, whatever it is, get a gym membership. What do you need to get there? That could be one thing. And lastly, what am I willing to sacrifice? There's a lot of people that do fasts at the beginning of the year that might, New Year's resolutions, whatever those things are. I said this in the last video, discipline brings about reward. So what are you willing to discipline? There's always, nothing comes easy. So we can ask 10 million people, we can beg and rub our hands on a genie and say, God, give me this, give me this. What are you willing to give up and to sacrifice to get what it is that you want? That can even be relationally. Okay, what are you willing to give up? That short temper? Are you willing to practice more patience? Whatever that thing is, what are you willing to sacrifice? I talk so much about that because it's such a hard practice, but are you willing to sacrifice having the last word? Rhea, are you willing to do that? Hello, this is real. You are a mirror to me right now. Are you willing to do that to get the peace that you desire? Absolutely, I am. Are you? Let's do this together, guys. And so, yeah, that's it. So I'm excited. Like, subscribe, comment, leave me, feedback. If there's a question, this is so timely for us to engage in these kind of conversations so that we can see how we can help each other and what's real out there to you guys. I'm going to share what's real to me every week when you guys hopefully get wind of my new videos or my new blog, which is also on my website too. You can just click on blog on www.rhealism.com. Thank you for spending time with me today. I am just excited. This is becoming a highlight to my week. So I'm excited that you guys have chose to stay with me. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.